Season 49, war number 3, and we are up against CHÂØŞ. This time my team will be Silk, White Tiger and Toad. I will be taking Path 7 in Section 1, Path 1 in Section 2, and then I will be taking the Serpent, Gore, Massacre and Warlock mini-bosses. And that will do it for this one. Now, I haven't really been seeing a lot of boss action lately. And the main reason for that is that we have a Professor X player in the BG, that's not me, so they've usually been handling those, along with a Sorcerer Supreme taking the Killmonger bosses. Anyways, starting off here we have a Kingpin on the second wind damage reflection and special burst lockdown nodes, and I'm taking the fight with White Tiger. And now, this might look like a better matchup for Toad, however, even if you shut down the opponent's Purify ability accuracy with those tactic prowesses, the opponent can still purify Toad's personal poisons by dashing in either direction. And if they do purify them that way, I believe that still counts for the second wind damage reflection node, triggering the damage reflection, and that just means Toad is a horrible option for this node. So instead, I'm using White Tiger, the same idea. I shut down the Purify ability accuracy with all those tactic prowesses, and then just, well, hit him until he drops, basically. As long as those prowesses don't fall below 3, Kingpin here cannot shrug off any debuffs, and that means no damage reflection whatsoever, making him basically just a normal Kingpin, which is easy enough to deal with. Finish the fight, full yellow bar, nothing too special about that one. And then we have a Dragon Man here on the second wind damage reflection and whatever else this one had on. Basically, if you knock the opponent down, you inflict an armor break debuff, which is something you don't want to do against Dragon Man. If he's armor broken, you will start taking a ton of degeneration damage passively for the duration of the armor break. So essentially, all you gotta do to take this fight down is to just not knock him down. All that's left is just a normal Dragon Man, which is easy enough to deal with. And one final thing to note is the physical resistance node here as well. The physical resistance buff he has on is pretty potent, so you can probably see my basic attacks are not doing too much damage unless I land those criticals, since critical hits bypass 80% of the opponent's armor and resistances. That's basically your main way to deal damage here. Now at this point I could go for the special 3 rotation to nuke the guy down, but I don't want to lose health for no reason, so I'm just gonna take it slower, just use the basic attacks, and he'll drop dead soon enough. It's only been roughly a minute, a little bit more than that, and he's down to 15%, so a few more combos should do it. Now, you see me here fully dexing the special 2s on Dragon Man. It's quite simple to do. The Fire Breath has 3 hits, but the first hit will not reach all the way to the end of the screen. So just back away from him as far away as you can, then as soon as the flames on the animation touch you, you simply dash back twice, and that should be all you need to do to be able to full dex the special 2. Simple enough, with some practice, I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, can get it down quite quickly. Then we have a Sasquatch here on the Never Back Down node, along with Indomitable, and I will be taking this fight with Silk. This fight is essentially the reason why I brought Silk in the first place. Now, preferably I would have brought in Spider-Ham, but he is in my defense team, so Silk will have to do. The game plan here is to just nuke the guy down. I will not be going for the special 3 rotation, because if Sasquatch triggers his Wrath at any point in the rotation, he will go stun immune, and that can cause some problems, especially if he's at a special 3. So instead I just go for a special 2, get a nice double crit on the last hits there, almost enough to nuke him down. But with the Science Power Back boosts, I got straight up to another special 2, and here we go, a quick finish. Fight didn't even take 40 seconds, and that was a big, beefy Sasquatch. So, Silk's damage output is honestly very good even without the special 3 rotation, though sometimes it is a little bit reliant on critical hits, so it's a mixed bag. Usually I just go the special 3 rotation for the reason that it's basically guaranteed to knock down or knock out anyone. Either way, next up we have a Nick Fury here on the buffet over time and Arc Overload nodes, and I'm taking the fight with White Tiger. Now I took this matchup in the previous season as well, but that time I forgot Mystic Dispersion as well as Deep Wounds, making the fight a lot longer and more difficult than it needs to be. This time, however, I am running the proper masteries, and as you can probably see, it makes a big difference. Roughly 30 seconds, and this guy's already down to his second life, and just a couple more special 2s should be all that it takes. Now, I did not manage to heal up all the way back to full, but that's fine. Don't even have to use a potion, since... Wait, hold on. I think I do, since the next fight is a Serpent and not the Gore. Either way, I finished it with near full health. It was a great fight. Nick Fury wasn't being too annoying, but it could have been done better. And if you time your special 2 properly with Nick Fury's second life, you can actually use the bleed debuff to skip the second life by stopping him from healing up back to full. Very difficult to time though, I wouldn't recommend trying it in war, but it is doable. Then next up we have a Serpent here on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it miniboss node, and I'm taking the fight with White Tiger. As usual, I do have the White Magneto pre-fight here to allow me to passively stun the guy even if he is debuff immune and due to the right back at it node. And now, learning from my previous attempt at this fight, well, that one was against a 7-star rank 3, so this one's not quite as tanky or, well, strong, so it's gonna be a lot easier. But, as I was saying, learning from the previous fight, I decided to go for some special 1s here instead of purely special 2 spam. The reason is, your special 1s give you an extra fury buff whenever you use them, so your basic attacks as well as specials will hit harder by doing so. I'm not exactly sure why I didn't use any special 1s in the previous attempt either, but I still didn't die, so I guess it wasn't too big of a difference, I guess. But at this point, it's roughly been a minute, this guy's already down to 20%, and even my basic attacks are just hitting so much harder than they did previously, and I gotta say, a couple special 1s, that's definitely the way to go. At this point, he has hit the death immunity, so he's gonna be healing back up a little bit here. I can't shut it down with the bleeds due to the debuff immune node, but that's alright. Another special 2 and a quick kick to the face, and down he goes. The power gain with the death immunity is usually very annoying and a big problem when fighting the guy, but the tactic prowesses do shut down ability power rate as well. So it is fairly important that you keep those up before you let him trigger it. Then we have yet another Gore here on the High Energy Diet and Burden of Might miniboss node, and I'm taking the fight with White Tiger. This one is simple. At this point you've probably seen it plenty of times in my previous war videos, and this one's not gonna be all too different. Basically, just stack up some tactic prowesses, just in case, get up to a special 2, and then throw it, preferably with the passive precision, though that's not entirely necessary, and then just cycle some special 2s until the guy drops dead. The passive precision allows you to hit many more crits on your special 2, which essentially just means you deal more damage and therefore gain more power from the Mystic Powerback boosts, which is very useful, but again, not necessary. White Tiger hits hard enough, and due to her power steal, she should be able to cycle special 2s in this fight, regardless of having the precision or not. Fight went down, very simple fight, and I believe I finished it with a full yellow bar. Gore kinda just does that for you. It's a free healing matchup for White Tiger, provided it goes well. If the AI is annoying, there can be some problems. Then, next up we have yet another Massacre on the Hazard Shift Incinerate and Poison miniboss node along with the stun immune node, and I'm taking the fight with Toad once again. Game plan is to avoid hitting him directly during the incinerate phase, since Toad isn't incinerate immune, which is good against Massacre as I have previously stated. So the game plan is to just get in during the poison phase, get as much damage done as possible, spam special ones, get those poisons up, and hope that they convert into passives whenever Massacre here dashes around. The passives deal a ton of damage, and already with just a couple prowesses it's already dealing 1400 damage every single tick. So just under 3k every second, and yeah, if you can get a couple of those on, the opponent is just gonna melt. On top of that, if the special ones crit with all those prowesses, yeah, most skilled champions or skilled defenders will just get completely nuked in under a minute. Now my RNG on the poison conversion here hasn't been the best, but it's not bad either. Did get a couple of them on, and this guy is just melting. One more special one, the fight is done in a little over a minute. Did take some damage from the incinerates, but that's fine. That was the final Toad fight of the war anyway, so I don't even have to worry about using any potions. Now I could take the thing with Toad here as well, but we have better options for that available. Then we have an Warlock here on the power efficiency and missing in action miniboss node, and I'm taking the fight with White Tiger as usual. I have the White Magneto pre-fight on to allow me to parry stun him even with the Solar Rain buff active if necessary, and then game plan is to just use the invulnerability boost, push him to a special 3 if possible. If he doesn't want to get there, that's fine, just try to parry the special ones, avoid the special 2s, and that's about all there is to it. Now for whatever reason, this specific Warlock was very trigger happy with those specials, and honestly, I got quite lucky I didn't get stunned when I hit into his port there. Definitely could've, and that could've been a big issue, but not this time. However, I did make a slight mistake there, and I wasn't prepared for another special one by him. I blocked it, which made it unblockable, and he did manage to throw it directly at me. And here, trying to finish the fight with a special 2, hit into his pod. He recovered faster than I did, and he did get to tap me a few times. Luckily, it didn't do a full combo and it didn't crit fully, so I'm still alive, and here I went ahead and finished the fight with a well-timed special 3. The reason I went for a special 3 is because I just got a falter debuff on me from the node. Had I tried to hit him directly, he would have just clapped me and potentially even killed me right then and there, so I backed off to prevent him from doing anything like using a special, charged up my heavy attack to enable the special 3, and then threw it to close it out. As for the results, we did end up winning the war 16-6. So roughly the same amount of deaths as the previous war, just, well, we died one more time, which isn't great. We really gotta cut down the deaths if we wanna compete, but overall, as long as we keep winning, that's all I can really ask for.